Hello, so I'm here to do a debrief of my trip to Phoenix for Laurel Portié's super duper ads. Super duper, I can't speak. Super duper profitable ads book launch. And here's the book. I have the first edition manuscript of the book and it's freaking amazing. Okay, so I was meant to do this last week, but unfortunately I had COVID, so I am a week behind with doing it. And oh my goodness, it was mind-blowing. And that's why also it's like, where do I start? Because there was so much, and it's like I could probably speak for a week about the event, but I realise you don't have a week and you probably don't want to hear about it for a week. But what I will say straight off the bat is, if Laurel Portié is ever doing another event, go. It's as simple as that, just go. It was incredible, the amount of value that we all got. So I only discovered Laurel 3 months, so 12 weeks before I was sat in Phoenix. I've never done any Facebook ads. It's a whole new world to me. It's a whole new language. And once I'd started in her program, I realized pretty quickly that I was with a lot of people who are way further ahead than I am. It was one of those things that, you know, when you just follow your intuition, you're like, I need this person. So I like to be stretched, and I really was stretched, both in her program and continued to be, but also with the people that I was around. Now, there's so many different parts that I could talk about because, well, that's it. There's so many different aspects to it. It's one, the people that I met the most amazing people, and that's both Laurel and the other presenters and the organisers. They were incredible, the most generous people who so generously shared their information and time. Absolutely incredible. But also the other attendees. It was so cool to be surrounded by people who were a long way ahead of me in business, and just to be around these genius minds. It was like having a hot bath. It was just wonderful to be around them, and they were all so generous and so helpful. It was a really good bunch of people. And you know, when you go on a course, there's always one. Well, there wasn't one. It was just like everyone was brilliant, and I think that's a testament to Laurel and the people that she attracts into her life. It was just really cool. Everyone got on so well. Everyone was so friendly. Everyone mixed together outside of the actual lessons, conference, what do you call it, sessions. And yeah, I went on my own. I didn't know a single soul, and yet I was greeted with friendly warmth every evening after the events. So it was a 3-day event. So that was the first thing. The people were just fabulous. Just the whole experience of being in Phoenix was fabulous. I got there a couple of days early to get over the jet lag. I had the most amazing day in the botanical gardens. I posted a reel from my botanical gardens experience on my Instagram. It was truly magical. I just can't tell you. There was an art exhibition in there, and a dear friend of mine had died only the week before, and I felt her with me in there. It was super magical. I was as high as a kite by the time I left there, just from all the nature and the beauty of the gardens. The next day I shopped. Shopping is always good. And then it was on with the event. So it was divided into sections. There was the ads part, Laurel's part, where I've got notes here, which is why I keep looking down. I can't explain Laurel's ads ecosystem because there's so much to it. It's one of those things that's very simple, but there's so many nuances to it. So I'm not going to even try and explain it to you. Get her book or join her $7 program, because you can learn it from the horse's mouth, which is much easier. All I will say is she comes from a television advertising background rather than a Facebook or rather than a social media or internet advertising background. So she comes to it with a slightly different mindset. And she has explained how the figures that you see in the ads manager are not what they seem, because when you build the ecosystem that she guides you in very great detail how to build, you're not necessarily going to make a sale per click, but you will be making a sale through this whole ecosystem working in the background together. So that was really interesting, and yeah, it feels good to know. It feels like I'm going to avoid some pitfalls just by knowing that. I came away knowing that if I just work step by step through her book and do what I'm supposed to do, don't overthink too much, which I'm a bit prone to, and keep taking the steps, I have all the information I need to get to the next level and the next and the next and the next. She taught us about how if your Facebook ads, when I say Facebook, it's all platforms. It's just because I'm only going to be doing Facebook to start with. If your ads aren't working, don't blame the fat platform. You're just paying them to put your content out, and they are doing that. So if they're not converting, don't blame them that they don't work. It's because your creative isn't working. And what she really drilled home to us was, it's not about what buttons you push in the background. It's about your copy. It's about what you're saying. It's about your calls to action. It's about what value you're giving to your people. So if it's not working, it's because you need to address that. She also said that 9 out of 10 ads don't work, which again is great to know, because I know that I just need to keep moving through them to get to those ones that really do work. Again, there's so much to share about Laurel's ecosystem. I'm just not even going to try and share it. Go and check her out. She's brilliant. You can join her program for just $7 a month. What have you got to lose? It's great. Okay, so that was one section, the actual ads part. But there was also, we went very deeply with Nick Peterson, who is amazing, and I can show you his book here. Bumpers, which is brilliant. This man is an absolute genius, and you know, sometimes you just meet people and it was almost like I just could not get enough of what he had to share, because he's absolute genius, and he shared so much about marketing, messaging, sales at such a profound and deep level that I was just completely blown away. And normally when I'm listening to things about marketing for a long time, I've been like just not inspired at all. So I've stopped listening to it because I find it so uninspiring. But he was so inspiring. He talked to us. Oh, there was just so much. Again, go and check out his work. Buy his book. It's super cheap on Amazon, and he spoke about self-mastery. He spoke about a framework for self-mastery. He spoke about the diffusion of innovation chart, and also I might just put in a disclaimer. We also heard from Lucas Rechesk, who also was another absolute genius person, and he talked to us about the Clarity Compass and AI. And there's a bit that I'm like, was it Nick or was it Lucas who said the bit about the diffusion of innovation? but you can look that up on Google. But how they talked about it was, I mean, it was just fascinating. And I just came out going, okay, I can see why my marketing hasn't been working. It was so clear why my marketing hasn't been working. And I think that was what for me, it was like the level of deepness that they went into, but also the level of experience in the room, both from them as presenters, but the other people in the room as well. It was just mind-blowing. And yes, so there was the ads, but there was also the self-mastery, and then there was also the messaging and the marketing, which kind of felt like three very separate bits. Oh, plus AI, how to use AI to your advantage, and how to use it to connect rather than outsource. So yes, it was absolutely incredible. I think what I would say is, oh, and also of course Brendan Straza, who was organising it and being the MC, who is the founder of Success Finder, which is a new platform, bit like the social media platforms, but without all the bit annoying bits. And we did all our communication for the event on the Success Finder, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I really like how non-distracting it is, because it just feels like everything's in one place where you want it to be. So do check out Brendan Straza and his Success Finder, because that is very cool too. Yeah, it was just, I think you can probably tell, those people who know me, I was a bit mind blown. It was what's coming up is food for the soul, which is interesting because it was very cerebral, but it was cerebral at a very deep level. It was very deep. It was not surface in any way, shape or form. It was very deep. It gave lots of answers to lots of questions, and yeah, we were really guided in how to use the information that we were learning. There was lots of different strategies and different concepts that I was introduced to that, yeah, I'm still digesting and still embodying what I learned, and implementing is going to be it's going to be a lifelong thing. This isn't something I'll be implementing in the next coming months. I will be implementing in the next coming months, but I'm going to be implementing for a lifetime, because it was really that life-changing. And I don't think I mentioned enough about the fun and the food. We had the most delicious food at lunchtime, and then for the evening of Laurel's book launch, we had a taco truck come, and Laurel, with her band, played the drums and entertained us. So it was super fun. Two of the attendees, who I've been out for dinner with them the night before, left on the last day in a driverless car. I'm like, oh my God. I'd seen these cars and I was like, what is that? It must be a police car, because it's got this weird thing on the top, but I hadn't noticed that there was no driver. It wasn't until theirs came to pick them up. I was like, oh, that's what they were. And it was just so bizarre to see them sit in the back with no driver, and off they went. And then later I saw a video of them on the motorway with, no driver, and it's going along the motorway at 65 miles an hour with no driver. It was insane. So lots of cool, innovative things in that neck of the woods. Oh, and also it was held in the Genius Network. I had never heard of the Genius Network, but a lot of people had, and it turns out that a lot of people, it's on their vision board to be a member of the Genius Network. You should check that out too. It's basically a very high level mastermind group, I would say, full of incredibly genius, incredibly successful people. I think the lower tier is $25,000 to join with a 1 million turnover, and I believe the next one is 100,000 up for a year, but don't hold me to that. I think that's what it is. So you've got to be really successful to get in with this group of people. And here we were sitting in their office, just being in that energy. It was just incredible, absolutely incredible. So Laurel will be running more events. She's got one in March and one in October. Oh, that was the thing. I am not the most trusting of people, and I've been around marketers enough to know that you're probably about to be sold the next big thing, which, you know, it's okay. But I do have a slightly, how did we put it? I don't like to be manipulated. I like it when things are out in the open. And of course, the whole advertising and marketing world is about manipulating, really, isn't it? Because it's getting people to do what you want them to do, i.e. buy your thing. So I have a bit of a funny relationship with it. Anyway, I was quite sure that because this was such a bargain and it was so good, I was quite sure that there must be, at the end, they'll be trying to get us to join their $50,000 whatever, which again is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with upsells. I'd like to make that clear. But I thought I'd best make sure that I keep a credit card with a fairly low credit rating on, so that I don't just get sucked into the NLP world of buying things that are really out of my price range. So I was all prepared for that. And then we got to the end, and do you know what the upsell was? The upsell was that we could come and do it all again in March and October for the same price that we paid this time, which was $300, including food for every lunchtime and one dinner. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was like, they were so generous all the time, so generous. And really, what they're teaching is provide a world-class service. You can't give away too much, and you're gonna do all right. And yes, you need to come up with different ways to reach different parts of your potential clients, whether they're hot or cold leads, and at what stage of the innovation, diffusion of innovation they're on. It's like, yes, you've got to think of different ways to reach them, and how different people think differently and respond to different information being delivered in different ways. So yes, you need to think of different ways to present the same information. But at the end of the day, what they teach was so in alignment with my values, and I think that's why I loved it so much, even though I do have this like, things that are too good to be true usually are, and I'm still like, well, that was too good to be true, and I'm still waiting for the something to drop, which I think says a lot about my mindset and beliefs more than what they were doing. Because yeah, absolutely brilliant, cannot recommend it highly enough. Do check out Laurel, she's amazing. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. It was amazing, 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 amazing. Okay, have a fantastic day. Love you lots. Bye bye.